Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we want to talk about the Hog Riders and how they got changed. They got nerfed in the last balance change, and we want to talk about whether they are still strong, whether they are still good to use, or whether you should try something else. Even though I know that already a lot of YouTubers did that video and discussed this topic, I had so many questions about my opinion on the Hog Riders that I decided to still do the video. So let's check it out. And I want to explain the first idea of the Hog Rider nerf on this attack of Teemo. After we discuss the attack of Teemo, I will show you two quick live attacks of me doing Queen Charge Hog Riders on Legend League, and I would try to explain and break down how I think, for example, Queen Charge Hog Riders got affected by the nerf and whether you will notice anything at all. So first off, the attack of Teemo. We can see down below in the troop bar we have the bowlers, we have the P.E.K.K.A, and we have behind the other circle we have the Hog Riders. Those three are pretty much the main part of the army. P.E.K.K.A will funnel, bowlers will go inside the base, then we have the 28 Hog Riders for the back end of the base. We will use the Warden as well for the main push, which means we'll go in here, we will jump over here and try to take out as much as possible. And now, before I try to talk too much, I will try to explain to you guys with the actual replay as well why I think the nerf wasn't too bad, and the only strategy which got affected is the Kill Squad Hog Rider. So let's go over it. Oh, and first off, because I did it in the German video as well, I want to do the same trick for you guys as well. I have a lot of guys asking me if those pros or whoever is doing it, the Electron attacks, and I see a max Electro Dragon attacking a max Queen. With a rage spell, a max Electro Dragon is one-hitting the enemy Queen. For example, if I use a rage over here, drop an Electro Dragon over there, the Electro Dragon will one-hit the enemy Queen. That's how it works. But you have the Warden as well, and the Warden as well is working on defense as well. That's super important, and it's really important that you understand how the Warden works in that sense, which means everything in this area of the Warden will get affected by the Warden aura, like not the ability, not the tome, but the bonus HP. Which means if you have the Warden next to the Queen, then the Queen can't get one shot anymore from the maxed Electro Dragon. This is a huge trick to actually avoid getting pretty much smashed by Electro Dragons, because the Electro Dragon has to attack twice, and it takes the Electro Dragon ages for attack twice, especially if there are like skeleton traps around there, archers coming out of your CC, etc. So this is super important to note. All of the defensive CC troops as well, the King as well, skeleton traps as well, so everything is getting affected by the aura of the Warden, which is super important to note. As well, in the offense, it's super important that you know a max Warden is giving the troops around him 90% of their HP as a bonus. This obviously has like a cap, otherwise you would have like golems with 10k HP or whatever. This would be a little bit strange. So the max HP you're getting as a troop is around 550. So this means true Hog Riders can actually get boosted up to around 1400, 1500 HP, which is quite a bit. You need to know this before we keep going with the video. So let's get into the attack itself before I talk too much and don't show any replays. Otherwise everyone will already with the video. So first off, we are doing the funneling with the Baby Dragon and the P.E.K.K.A, and then go straight into the base. We're using the Golem as well, obviously, because, well, we don't want our bowlers to die at the Giga Bomb at the Town Hall, so everything is going straight in, everything is looking good. So, Ice Golem is exploding, everything looks good. By the way, Ice Golem, way better than a Golem, just for you. And let's go deeper into the attack. Everything looks good so far, using the Warden ability. Enemy has 2 Ice Golems in the CC, I don't know why, but still it's looking good. Jump spell to the enemy Queen, and then we can start the Hog Riders in just a moment. His own Queen is doing Queen things, I guess, I don't know, but yeah, he's starting with the Hog Rider now. What we want to do is take a take a look at the Hog Riders and how fast they're actually losing HP, because we will later have the Warden coming over to the Hog Riders, so we have a nice, we can compare this really nicely. First heal spell, and you already saw how much they're actually suffering from giant bombs, from those point defense. For example, the cannon is just wrecking this one Hog Rider. And as soon as you see the Warden coming over, you see how much less damage they're taking because they have so much more HP. And that's what's so important in those Hog Rider attacks, that you have the Warden around the Hog Riders, because they're getting so much more beefy with him. And that's why the Hog Riders are that strong right now, because this Warden aura is just so powerful in combination with the troop. And this means as soon as you have the Hog Riders alone, walking around alone the base, you will notice the change. You will notice 30 HP seems less, but it's noticeable as soon as you're getting the range. Like the Hog Riders will have 920 before the balance change, and 800, I think 90 after. So there you will notice it, especially with traps like giant bombs or even the bomb tower. You would notice that a lot with that, but with having the Warden next to it, you won't notice it too much. But one more thing, and that's a really popular question: how is Mass Hog Rider affected by this? So let's say this is getting taken out by the Ram, King and Queen, for just as an example. And we have the Hog Riders coming in once again from the left side, but this time they're splitting. One part is going up, one part is going into the core. We have the Warden, because the Warden isn't working, that he's just like going in between both. He's following one of the groups, so like either one of like the upper or the other group, which means one of the groups won't be affected by the Warden aura anymore. And this means, yes, Mass Hog Riders is getting nerfed a little bit as soon as you're able with the base to make sure that the Hog Riders are splitting. That's the part where the Hog Riders are getting nerfed and you notice the nerf. But as soon as you have the Warden following a group of Hogs, for example a Queen Charge Hog Rider attack, you won't notice pretty much any difference. Like 30 HP in a Hog Rider which has like around 1.4k HP, you won't notice that too much. But as soon as you have a Mass Hog Rider attack and the Hog Riders are splitting, you will notice it, like just for sure. But now let's switch over to a couple of live attacks in the Legend Leagues, and let's see how we can do with my favorite Queen Charge Hog Rider army, and let's see how we do. Okay, we're into the first attack, and right now I'm using a lot of Warbreaker charges in combination with my Queen Charge, and then the Slammer in combination with the Hog Riders, and in the Slammer itself are even more Hog Riders. So let's try to take a look at this base, at the first one, which isn't like upgraded too well, but it's a nice test to see how the Hog Riders actually do. The first thing what we try to do is to do the CC. As soon as we have that done, we will start off with our Queen Walk at the top and hope for our Queen is taking out both of the enemy heroes, and then we can start our Hog Rider part from the left side. If the Inferno Tower is still standing, we can use over there the Slammer to take that out and then come in together once again with all of our Hog Riders. And let's see where we can use our King, and that's pretty much depending on how our Queen is going, and we just have to adapt at this point. That's another thing which is super important when you're up there in Legend League, that you have to adapt really fast. That's how those really high up trophy players and really good players do. They always like can adapt really well if something is not going as planned, or you just have those 30 seconds to plan and it's all about, okay, I'll start my Queen over here and take a look at what she does, and then I will adapt accordingly. What I did right here is to try to freeze the enemy Queen to not use my Queen ability, but there was so much damage on my Queen that I had to use her eventually, which was okay, not too bad, but the ground expo in the back was super annoying. And now I see, okay, my Queen is skipping the air defense, so I have to do something. I'm starting off with my Slammer to try to make my King actually go in. I misdropped the King, so my King is actually going to the gold storage, which wasn't supposed to happen, but so far everything is still looking okay. Not perfect, but still okay. Everything is open on the right side, so my King can actually enter, and I'm starting off with my Hog Riders. using another rage to keep my queen alive, and using a freeze to make sure that the next eagle shots are not hitting any of my troops. Meanwhile, my hog riders are getting into the first part of the base, and I'm using the first seal over the eagle just to make sure that I don't have to use my warden ability too early. Now I'm using my king just to get him through the wall, because well, all of those walls are not too max. So yes, I know this base isn't too well upgraded, but it's a nice test for the nerfed hogs. Meanwhile, my queen is still alive, and even though this attack went horribly wrong in the beginning, I'm still managing to pull off the 3 stars, which means it's still possible. And like I said, it's getting closer and closer with the hog riders, and you see the difference. And like I said, as soon as the ward is not anymore in range of the hog riders, you notice a huge difference. But otherwise, hog riders are still viable, hog riders are still strong, and I will try to show you guys that in the next replay as well, because we have a second attack coming up as well, just to make sure that we don't like mess up anything with only one attack. We want to test it twice at least. So let's have a look at this, how this goes, and at this part, let me know how it works right now for you. The update is out already for a couple of days, so what is your favorite attack strategy right now? Do you guys still love the Queen Charge Hog, or did you change or like switch over to the Queen Charge Dragons like I did for most of my attacks? I like them a lot. It's super fun to attack with them. And this base, we know it, Queen Walkers did use it against us, I tripled it over there, but I used a ram. So let's try and see if it works with the Slammer as well, whether we can somehow pull it off. What was the goal pretty much of this attack? We tried to charge into the Town Hall compartment, but because the Archer Tower into the Town Hall compartment is like a little bit towards the Town Hall, not touching the wall, it means it will be super annoying to actually make our Wall Breakers target this corner, because they will probably go to the upper and to the other Archer Tower first. So we tried, and like I said, it happens that the Wall Breakers are targeting the wrong wall. As soon as the upper Archer Tower is down, I should be able to target the wall, which is nice, spamming all of the Wall Breakers in, but the king and the Barbarians already got the job done. I'm using the healers, using a rage to make sure that my healers are getting faster to the queen, and using a poison and the enemy king, enemy dragons, and everything is looking super good at this point. We still have 2 rages left, we have still 2 freezes left, which means everything is set. We can pretty much lay back at this point and enjoy our queen wrecking things. So she got rid of the Town Hall, she got rid of the next air defense, and as soon as that's done, she's getting closer and closer to the enemy queen. Once again, an aggressive rage, just to make sure that our queen is stepping into the rage, and the healers as well. And as soon as she's getting onto the enemy queen, I'm using the queen ability, but we are really like kinda in the warden range, and this messes up my freeze timing. A little bit unlucky, but that's how it is. I'm using the Hog Riders to get everything in. The outside group is getting targeted. This is why I'm delaying the first heal spell a lot. And then my queen is still doing her thing in the middle, but dies eventually. But the healers are coming over. This is why it doesn't really matter too much if the queen is dying, if you know you have the time on your side. Using the Slammer on the outside to make sure that you're getting the funnel right. And I notice, okay, my Slammer is not going to the right side with the Archer Tower, and this means I have to use the 3 loons to take this out, to make sure that all of my Hog Riders are actually staying inside and concentrated onto the last Inferno Tower. Still, my healers are on the Hog Riders. I don't think that I needed the last heal spell, but we don't want to swag too much, because we still have the freeze left, and this is going to be an overkill 3-star on this base. Minion onto the army, onto the queen building in the middle, and this was it for this base. We have pretty much more Hog Riders than we had in the beginning of the raid, and this is going to be an overkill 3 stars. Nice attack, and I think that Queen Walk Hog Riders are still super strong. They're still viable, and like I said, as soon as you have your Warden with the Hog Riders, you won't really notice any difference. But as soon as the Hog Riders are leaving the aura of the Warden, you will see a slight difference in the HP of the Hog Riders. I hope you guys liked today's video. I will see you guys hopefully in the next one. Make sure to check out yesterday's video about the Queen Walk Dragons. They're super fun to use, super easy to use as well, so you might want to pick it up. and check the video out like I said. I will see you guys in the next one and see you tomorrow.